Bitcoin is literally pumping right now, guys. I took a long 2 days ago and it's literally right now in a huge profits. I need to talk about Bitcoin because right now I think Bitcoin could actually bounce even harder than it is doing right now. So let's get right into the TA as you can see, because as you can see, Bitcoin has been bouncing from the support we've mentioned in our last couple of videos. If you haven't been following us, make sure to subscribe because we're growing this channel. I have an Arabic channel with almost 8.5k subs. However, I want to grow a channel in English, so if you want to support me, make sure to subscribe because I've made it very clear that I'm looking to long Bitcoin. I've said in my previous two videos, the first one is titled wait for this sign before longing Bitcoin, and the second one, why I just longed Bitcoin. That was actually 2 days ago, and as you can see, I'm in a huge profits because Bitcoin literally bounced from the area we've spoken about on the channel and also on the Moon Show. If you followed me, I've talked about why Bitcoin has the high likelihood of bouncing and going up from $107,000. I've explained that Bitcoin right now at $107,000 was hitting the anchored VWAP. I've said that this anchored VWAP tool is very important because it gives us literally the bounce from the uptrend. As you can see, last time we hit the same anchored VWAP from this uptrend, we had the best opportunity to buy at around $100,000, which actually gave us the nicest bounce to Bitcoin to $124,000, and also that made me feel comfortable, to be honest, on thinking or taking along at $107,000 because it doesn't make sense, to be honest. If you haven't taken any shorts on the drop on Bitcoin, it doesn't really make sense to be looking to short Bitcoin as we are hitting the critical support area where we saw last time the same bounce from the anchored VWAP. Add to that the confluence we had into this green zone. As you can see, this green zone is basically taken from the volume profile pool. As you can see, I've mentioned how I'm looking at Bitcoin into different parallel channels and how we had this sideways move before getting or breaking out of $110,000, and I've mentioned that we got this point of control literally sitting at confluence with the anchored VWAP at $107,000. That's why it doesn't literally make zero sense to be shorting Bitcoin. You should be looking only to long Bitcoin. That was what I was saying, I think 2 days ago, as you can see. So now Bitcoin has finally started to rise up. However, I'm gonna mention a very critical resistance area because, as I've told you right now, I'm in a huge profit inside most of my longs. However, I'm gonna talk about the most important and critical area of resistance where I think probably Bitcoin could top up at before, if we need to break it before going to much higher areas or places. As you can see, if I go to the 4-hourly time frame, I needed to make it very clear that the bounce, yes, is very nice, to be honest, on Bitcoin. However, I need to see a clear break of $114,000 before calling or thinking that Bitcoin could actually rise up to $120,000 or even make a new all-time high. I've explained that using the same volume profile pull and taking it from since the last time we broken out of $110,000 to the current price action, we can see that the value area low is literally sitting at $113,700. Add to that, we got the anchored VWAP showing us that we are still in a downtrend from the all-time high. So if we need to break the all-time high downtrend, we need to break the anchored VWAP. This blue line, as you can see, that is coming off of the all-time high. So technically we got a nice confluence or area of confluence where we got the value area low, which is taken from the volume profile. We get the anchored VWAP downtrend of the all-time high. We got also the Fibonacci golden pocket taken from this high to the old or current low on Bitcoin, and we also got a small non-important also area of resistance at the $114,200, which is the MPUC. So we got multiple great confluences, to be honest, to be a bit more cautious of thinking about long in Bitcoin once we hit $114,000. So I'm literally bullish right now on Bitcoin, expecting higher prices to come. I think that we can easily start hitting $114,000. However, once we hit $114,000, I'm gonna go on the lower time frame and think about either shorting Bitcoin if we get a nice reaction, possibly taking a scalp short on Bitcoin. That doesn't mean obviously me being bearish. However, I'm might think of taking a scalp short on the idea of hitting these confluences if we have a bad reaction. However, if you see a clear break on $114,000, to be honest, I'm gonna be expecting higher to come on Bitcoin. So yes, I'm technically still expecting higher to come. I'm happy about the bounce at $107,000. However, I'm still gonna need to see a clear break of $114,000 before thinking we can easily see a nice quick bump to $120,000. Thanks for watching, guys.